Welcome to the start of a new series. It's going to be a pretty casual one. I'm going to be solving the New York Times Connections puzzle and basically challenging myself to record myself doing it and to explain my reasoning as I go through. I'm going to be calling this series Courageously Pursuing Connections Perfection. You might be wondering what I mean by connections perfection. I'll explain that as we go through the puzzle. And you might be wondering why I think this is a courageous thing to do. And honestly, listen, I just needed a word that began with C for the partial alliteration, so don't think too hard about that one. The title is a work in progress. I'll probably change it as I go along. Anyway, let's jump into today's puzzle, the puzzle for June 22nd, 2025. Let's go. As you can see, I have a 17-day streak going. I don't expect to reach like really long streaks and connections just because some of the puzzles can be really difficult. But let's see how long I can keep this streak going. Let's jump into today's puzzle number 742. Let me open the puzzle. Let me also open my notepad. We can make some notes on the side. And here we go. What do we have? So, for those who don't know, basically the way this game works is there's a 4x4 grid with 16 entries, and there's going to be four different categories, each with four things each. And we have to figure out what the four categories are. So let's think about this. So immediately I noticed that The Wire, Euphoria, uh, Succession, and Entourage are HBO shows. I'm not gonna put anything in. I'm just gonna in my notepad, if I can bring it up properly. See, Wire. Let's do it like this. Wire. Oh my God! Come on. Succession. This is the first real challenge. How to type. How to type words. What was the other thing? Entourage. The thing that's making me a little suspicious about this is what was the last one? Euphoria. Is Euphoria an HBO show? I don't know, and obviously I'm not gonna look it up. But the other thing that's making me doubt this is so the last three that I've put here, Succession, Entourage, and Euphoria, those are just the names of the show. Whereas for The Wire, it's The Wire. It's not just Wire. So I'm not confident. I felt really confident when I put it in, but I'm not confident as I think about it now. So let's think about this. All right. Insecure bulletin. Well, we can have we can have a news flash. We can have a news bulletin. We can have a news report. And is there anything else here that uh news wire? That's a thing, right? Um, is there anything else that new? No, I already put news flash. Life? News live? No, that's not a thing. Okay, so this first one is causing a lot of issues. Let's look at some of the other ones. Look at what insecure might be a part of. There's insecure attachment. That's a psychology term, right? What would port what would port be a part of? Let's whew, this is I was expecting this to be easier because yesterday's puzzle was very difficult. And to be fair, this one I'm putting extra stress on myself by recording myself doing it. But so let's see. Let's see. Remaining. That's a very distinctive word. There's remaining. There's departed. I mean, The Departed is uh, a movie. Does that help us? No, not really. Am I thing like am I wrong about Wire, Succession, Entourage, Euphoria? Like it's Wire that's kind of tripping me up. So let's actually remove Wire from this and let's just see what we can do with the rest of this. So where would Liberty go? So I'm like life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's in the Declaration of Independence, I think. Okay, oh wait, hang on a second. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, now I'm feeling pretty happy about this. It's too much of a coincidence if that's not it. So now, what else can we do? Like insecure and port. Where would they go, right? Let's think about what is actually left. Progressive. Well, port. Progressive succession we've potentially put somewhere else. Departed. Flash we put with the news stuff. Wire remaining. And I think that's everything, right? No, insecure. Insecure, yeah, okay. So let's think about this. Progressive remaining departed port. So so if we are confident about the the news stuff, then then which of these six makes the most sense? It's got to be wire, like wire services. That's a news term for sure because none of news remaining doesn't make sense. News insecure, de- news progressive, news port almost seems like it could be a thing, but I highly doubt it. So I do actually think wire is gonna go with the news terms. So let's do it like that. Let's take wire out. So out of these five, if we are correct that the first category we identified as HBO shows, then that means, well, I don't even know if Euphoria is an HBO show. I've never watched it. But Succession and Entourage, I do know. But if it's got to be though, because otherwise, Euphoria isn't gonna be tied to any of these other things. So let's remaining progressive, progressive port. That's the part of the video where I sound like an insane person just saying words over and over again. But it is a way to maybe jog something in your mind. Let's think about this. So I'm not gonna hold myself to I have to solve these in one sitting. If I'm really struggling, I'll take a break and then I'll come back if I have some epiphany. But let's see how far I can get before I have to give up and take a break. Let's just see. All right, let's figure this out. All right, let's. Sorry, clicked on the wrong thing. Let's get back on the page and get my notepad back open. All right. So there's what can we say about Departed? It could be the name of a show, right? So let's think about this. Out of if we're right about these being TV shows, out of these four, what sounds the most like the name of a TV show? And actually, Insecure could be the name of a show, honestly. So, progressive. Okay, so we can say progressive. It could be political. It could be like prog rock. It could be just a generic adjective. Remaining. I mean, now that a lot of these could be like the name of a show. I'm not up to date on. Like I don't know the name of every TV show ever made. So maybe that's not going to be a helpful heuristic for trying to figure this out. Maybe a better way is going to be can we figure out if we're right about everything else, and there's obviously a big question mark over that, but if we're right about everything else, then four out of these five are gonna be their own category. So sometimes it can be very obscure. Like it could be, I don't think these are anagrams, but it could be that in yesterday's puzzle, I think we also had port, but in that puzzle, port was because it was words that are the first four letters of countries in Europe, and port was meant to be Portugal, I don't think that's happening in today's puzzle. All right, progressive, departed, remaining, insecure. So let's say, okay, let's imagine that there's a TV show called Insecure. You know what? I figured it out. I figured it out. It is Insecure, and not because I've magically remembered that there's a show called Insecure. It's because port can mean, like, it's a nautical term. It could mean the left of a ship. Progressive could mean the left. If somebody has departed, then they've left. And if there's something that's remaining, then it's what's left. So these four are going to be what left might mean. And this is also where the part about connections perfection comes in. Because I don't want to just solve the puzzle, I want to solve it in a very specific order. And the first uh, group of terms that I want to put in, I want them to be the purple category. So I'm, I feel like we've cracked this puzzle, so let's put this in. Port, progressive, remaining, departed. And if this is not purple, I'm going to be very sad. What left might mean nailed it. Next, what I want is blue. And here's where it gets tough, because I'm usually pretty good at figuring out what purple is. I think blue is gonna be, man, it could be the news terms. It could also be life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. I think it's gonna be the news terms. But if it's life, liberty, I'm gonna be really angry. But let's take a gamble and say flash, bulletin, report, wire. Uh, Flash, bulletin, wire, report. Please be blue. Fuck off! How is this yellow? How is this yellow, man? Oh, this is. This was meant to be a casual video. How is that yellow? So is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Is that blue? Is that blue? That's green? Man, come on. How are these? So, the reason I'm getting so angry is because the colors are meant to represent difficulty. Like, purple is supposed to be the most difficult. Blue is supposed to be the second most tricky. Green is meant to be, the second easiest, and yellow is meant to be the easiest. I mean, feel like I feel like if it's just names of TV shows, that's got to be one of the easiest categories you can have. Like I spotted three of them right away. And yeah, there was a red heading with wire, but whatever. I'm a little bit annoyed. A little bit annoyed. We got perfect. We even got purple first, but we didn't get reverse rainbow, which is what I was aiming for. And what we're gonna do is, having solved it, let's just take a look at the connections bot, see how other people did. I'm gonna guess that this has a solve rate in the mid 60s, because yeah, it took me a while, but I think people probably figured it out pretty easily. Actually, I stand corrected. I'm wrong. Apparently, people had more trouble with it than I anticipated. But let's see how we did. We got nearly 99 out of 99. If we had put things in the order of purple, blue, green, yellow, then it would have been 99 out of 99. But you know what? I think that's a very solid start. Let's see how we did. Obviously, we put in purple first, which is what we aim for. And let's take a look at some of the common mistakes people made. Is is there a TV show called Departed? I mean, I had a feeling a lot of people would fall for the Wire red herring. Um, these others, I think, were people just being a little going on a bit of a fishing expedition. Um, but yeah, I think I think I'm pretty happy with this, even though I am a little annoyed with what the puzzle maker thought about the difficulty of these categories because it doesn't really match up with what I what I thought. I would have I would have not had this as blue. That's the only thing that's bugging me. And I don't think I mean I guess the Declaration of Independence arguably is more difficult than the news stuff. But yeah, I would have definitely not put this as blue, whatever. It's another win in the books. So that counts as another perfect puzzle and another purple first. So in these statistics, the only thing that gets recorded is how many mistakes you made, whether you solved the puzzle, whether you got it perfect, and whether you put purple first. So the whole thing I was getting angry about, that we didn't get 99 out of 99, that doesn't even go into these stats, but it's still something that makes me feel very happy when I manage to successfully do it. But you know what? We'll give it another try next time. So my plan for this series is going to be I'm going to start out doing it just once a week because there's a bunch of other things that I'm also doing on my channel and obviously, other real life commitments. But I think every Sunday, Sunday being a nice lazy day, uh, you know, it's a good way to ease ourselves in. And then maybe if I, you know, get into the habit of recording myself doing it, because like it was a pretty stressful experience being like struggling through all of these categories and being like, am I just being really stupid? Am I just completely wrong about this? Have I fallen for some red herring and do I look foolish to the other people who've managed to figure it out much quicker than I did? It is stressful, but I think doing it a few times might ease that stress a little bit. Anyway, for now, that's gonna be all for this one. I will do another one next Sunday, and then we'll see how it goes, and we'll go from there. But anyway, I wanted to say thank you so much for watching. If you don't play Connections, I highly recommend you play Connections. If you do play Connections, I highly recommend you check out the Connections bot, which they introduced a while back, because it'll really motivate you to start solving the puzzle in a deeper and more satisfying way rather than just, you know, quickly throwing in the answers and being done with it, because it really has added an extra layer of challenge getting the purple first and trying to get the reverse rainbow. It's almost like a game within a game. So yeah, I highly recommend you at least give that a shot a few times and see how that feels. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and until the next time, I'll see you next Sunday.